Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going to actually go and talk about quite a few very nifty and big topics that are actually floating around as of right now. This is more in regards now to the PlayStation 5, where it's actually been doing some really huge sales records, and as well, how they're also opening up some really brand new big studios now, and investing a lot of money also in other foreign types of investments in terms of building studios, building games, and all of that, and basically kind of puts together that the PlayStation 5 is probably going to keep on going and continuing its massive takeover. Now, right now, the community sentiment, I would probably say, is a little bit more on the lower side when it comes to the PlayStation, where they've had a few hiccups and price raises and even the drama with Xbox. But it does not go and take away the fact that Sony has been doing phenomenal in terms of restocks, PlayStation 5 units sold, and everything in between. So I'm going to talk about this, talk about these huge sales figures coming out, and as well talk about the new expansions that the PlayStation 5 is making to essentially make it a better console. And as well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below. We have the Target links down below. We also have the Amazon links and giveaway links and all that stuff as well. And let's go dive into the video. So very first and foremost, I want to go deep dive into a really cool article over here in regards that the PlayStation 5 has actually now hit a really big milestone in regards to the UK market. Now, I know a lot of you folks are American, but as well, the UK and also others, like, various areas, think Canada, etc., are also really big industries we want to focus on when it comes to consoles and games. So one of the big things with this is the PlayStation 5 is, like I said, hit 2 million UK sales, making it the fourth fastest selling games console of now all time. The GfK data reveals that PS5 has delivered the highest revenue of any console at 2 million units now. So first and foremost, they didn't go and sell the biggest sales, but also don't forget that this is a $500 or $400 console. First, let's say we had like a $200 console back in the 80s. I know they're a little bit more expensive, but just saying in general. So the PlayStation 5 has actually broken past now the 2 big million sales numbers in the UK. It now makes this the fourth fastest home console to reach that figure. This is basically matching the PlayStation 5, but is unfortunately behind the PS4. And I do think if we didn't have all these supply chain issues these past few years, I think it'd be very far past the PS4, especially because some regions are also getting less stock, as we'd imagine. But as well, it's kind of funny because the PS2 was also number 2, so basically the PlayStation's mostly competing against itself, and the Nintendo Wii, which also was just still a freak house of a popular console that every grandma had for some odd reason. So all this data is courtesy as of GfK. So the console's performance has been held back due to stock shortages, semiconductor issues, shipping issues, blockages, and price points and all of that. But nevertheless, it was actually the most lucrative console to reach 2 million sales, having generated £900 million. By comparison, the Wii had only generated £358 million at their 2 million sales numbers, while the PS4 is at $700 million, and the Xbox One was at $726 million too as well. So given the stock problems surrounding the PS5, it is fair to say they would have easily outpaced the PS3 to 2 million units, says the GfK boss Dorian Bloch. One thing that is very clear, though, is the significantly higher price of the PS5 has, funny enough, not hindered sales. Although there has been some inflation obviously tied on in, which probably would affect sales up a little bit in terms of if these price points were comparable to the back in the day. But as well, it also does kind of seem like gaming as a whole has grown as a bigger brand. So while you may also have a higher price point, you also have a lot more interest in it, a lot more money being spent into it, marketing budgets, development budgets, and all of that. And it's also more mainstream. So very intriguing to know. So with that one too, it does show that it has a bigger premium over the average of both consoles over the 2 million unit period too as well. So very cool to see that they actually have hit the highest revenue numbers. The Xbox One took 104 weeks to reach 2 million, exactly 2 years, and the Xbox 360 took 110 weeks, which is around 2.12 years. Although the Xbox 360 was slower to this mark than Xbox One, Xbox 360 overtook the Xbox One after 3 years and remains Microsoft's biggest install with around 9 million in the UK. This would took a relatively long time to reach 2 million units sold at 2.69 years. However, with the introduction of Switch Lite after 2.5 years and the subsequent massive boost of the console received after the COVID lockdown, plus the fact that the system seller Zelda launches next year, means the Switch is set to add a decent number to the install base, which I'd probably agree with too as well. I'm still wishing that there was a Switch Pro, but at this point, what can you kind of go and do? So to give you guys a quick rundown, here are the numbers we're looking at. Basically, these are all just kind of based on the revenue or average price. So, say the Wii, this thing just flew. Jesus. Then we have the PS2 as well at 60, which in all honesty is pretty comparable for a bigger mainstream console. PS4 was also phenomenal too. PS5 is kind of up there as well. And I'll be kind of curious if we can also ramp it up too with the semiconductor issues becoming a little bit more settled. And also, once again, look at these revenue numbers and average prices. That's insane. And also, the Wii also had a crazy low average price too, which also makes sure why so many people buy it. It's like you can spend $100 and you're good to go, or you spend $500 and you still have to compete. It's kind of like one of those things. So we have a lot of these things to kind of mention too and talk about. PS1 still did really well, especially for the first generation iteration. And I'm kind of surprised at how long it took the Nintendo Switch to get to this point, although I'm sure those numbers are very consistent and still ongoing. So very cool to see how the PlayStation takeover is still coming out over here. But now the next big thing I want to go talk about, though, is on the expansion of the PlayStation Studio side. So kind of cool things to note. PS5 Studios Malaysia achieves next major milestone with futuristic workspace. So we've actually now been seeing some really cool and nifty changes coming over here from PlayStation, where the PlayStation Studios Malaysia, the first party studio supported located in Kuala Lumpur, has achieved its next major milestone. And this has a gorgeous futuristic tech space over here. And this was a few days ago, but they have an updated article with it. And I just want to show you guys, because this is actually really cool. Now, this is essentially in my mind kind of just seeming like, first and foremost, as a PlayStation side. But look at this. Look at how cool. Like, I always love seeing these more internals and all this type of stuff with this. I think it's neat. I think it's cool. I think it's nifty. And at the end of the day, I mean, I just think it's cool. I love having a chance to go and see, like, kind of how these bigger businesses, how they kind of evolve and how they kind of work, and what they kind of do to go and make this, I don't know, I guess seem more futuristic, for, I guess, a lack of better terms. Like, if you have a really boring office, what's kind of the point? So as you guys can see, they have these over here with the Sony Interactive badges. They have the employee badges. But other really cool things, too, are tied into with, like, look at how cool this looks. So you see the Sony PlayStation Studios in Malaysia. The whole office looks cool. This looks sick. Like, imagine doing a business meeting and coming into work, and this is the office you're literally in. Like, this is so cool to see. They have some nice comments over here saying, thank you to the PlayStation team. My team has made this all possible. Another beginning to a far greater height, too, as well. It's 2 years as the Blue Blood, and to many more, too. Like, look at all these cool pictures. Like, look at the office. Look at the people living there and working there. I would literally work here. That just seems like a good vibe with good snacks and good everything. Like, I love this. Like, look at how cool this looks. Look at the buildings. They have the nice chairs. They have the nice offices. People are even asking in the comments any job openings over here. But this is the type of office that I would want to work at. I would love this. I love seeing this. I think the vibes of this are very, very nice to go and see. So as you guys can kind of see as well, the reception desk is huge. They have the PS5 logos, and as well they have like the TVs, meeting rooms, and all of that. They even have kitchens. They have stuff overlooking the cities. And I feel like if these companies are making good money and making good products, and they're hiring good, like, you know, engineers and marketing teams or whatever, bro, go and splurge and get a nice office. Like, this is also hitting up a big, important part of the Asian market. And I think that, like, I mean, a lot of people are in the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, when it comes to China, Japan, Korea. And these are, like, people who will play games. So it's kind of crazy to go and see how well these new spaces are coming out to as well. So, at least for right now, they're saying that PS Studios Malaysia doesn't seem to be making any of its own games. It's apparently like a important cog with the platform's first-party output, too, as well. So they might just be doing a lot of freelance where it's like, hey, God of War needs, like, a cool cutscene, we're on it. Hey, we need to have, like, some bug testing, we're on it. Hey, we're going to work on The Last of Us remake, we're on it. So very cool to see this. And this also kind of ties into, as well, with the fact that they're making also a secret game, too, on top of that. Which kind of also goes to show that this whole Malaysian team, although they might be filling a lot of these holes, might as well also be doing some very, very nifty new projects. So they currently have 77 employees strong and growing. Have also assisted production on the first-party titles like MLB The Show, The Last of Us Part 1, as I mentioned, and while it admits its contribution has been small so far, its role is growing. So when they state, when we started, the team was very small. Boss Hasnol Hadi Samnusin, I probably said that wrong, told an audience at the conference in Malaysia, as reported by IGN, a lot of what we're doing is asset development for the games, especially for MLB, but now we have a full-fledged art team, so we can do environmental modeling, concept arts, and we have a brilliant animation team that's working on some games that we can't even go and talk about because they're all secretive. As games get larger, workforces are growing to help build them. One solution is to outsource projects to external studios who can help do the heavy lifting on smaller details, like creating art assets and animations. And this is one that I always like this too when it comes to normal jobs, of having flex people who could essentially go and fill in any role you need in the future. And I think this pretty much seems like this team is that if any big first-party game has a game coming out soon and they need some help, they're going to step up and offer to go do it. So it does seem like the future of the PlayStation is looking great in terms of sales, in terms of units, in terms of buildings, and I want to hear your thoughts and comments down below. As well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below, Twitter and Twitch stream down below, and we also have the giveaway links down below. And check out the Target Amazon links too, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching.